Under the leadership of that hardy woodsman, Daniel Boone, a large party set out for the new land, Kentucky.
Abraham Lincoln was born right here.
The world comes to be pretty like me.
I'm Colonel Harold Sanders, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about my Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Have I told you you people are crazy?
This is Old Kentucky Tales, the only show that solemnly swears that we have never sucker-smacked a congressman with a cane, even though Jason really wanted to one time. Mm-hmm. Today's title is Congressman versus Congressman, no disqualification, fireplace, tongs, and canes match.
What's happening, Brent?
Oh, we're going full on.
What did I say?
We have blown past wrestling, and we're going into wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I said momentum, but not like terror.
we got the momentum.
This is the most animated Brent.
We got the 24-inch python momentum, brother. And if you don't believe that, then I got two words for you. I am your host, Brent Taylor. Nearby is the man who layeth the verbal smacketh down on you, the listener, Jason Donner.
The verbal smackdown. I'm more concerned with your recent personality change.
We're getting more intense around here. We got to get those clicks up for episode 2.
The WWF kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of motif we're going for here, Jason.
Yeah,
100% correct.
Pretty good. Pretty scary.
Our main event is the ultimate title bout between Matthew Lyon and Roger Griswold.
Okay. All right, so it makes some sense.
You just thought things had gone off the rails.
Well, that's it. He's flipped and didn't tell us.
All right, these guys had a real life wrestling match.
Oh, okay.
In the halls of Congress. So this was off the charts. You know, we always have this feeling that today's politics are so much worse than they've ever been.
Oh, yeah, that's true, man. People would just shoot at each other, fist fights, say the worst things imaginable.
They killed each other.
Yeah.
Our governor Goebel,
hunt him down.
He killed a guy before he ever even became governor.
Yeah, so it is actually better now between politicians.
I'd say so. Just if you look at it over time, it's certainly no worse, but it's probably some better.
I think people look back on Lincoln and Washington and they think, well, those dignified, statesmen but that is not all the politicians.
No.
Certainly not all the little or congressional people in every state.
Right, but even you talk about Andrew Jackson or Henry Clay, the big names.
Yeah,
they
tough guys.
Gunfights.
Right, real tough guys.
So that's the whole thing, right? We want to always keep that in perspective around here.
Gunfights are bad, though, Brent.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, disclaimer, right? We are in no way endorsing gun violence in Congress.
This is not the way to... This is the olden days. The olden days.
Olden days, yes. Old Kentucky, not new, not present, but old Kentucky tales.
Right. This is a different day. Even though we're wearing the exact same clothes, would you agree that this was not done on the same day right after the first episode?
No comment.
Will you just sign on that? All right. I'm trying to create the impression that we're professionals.
Oh, we are professional. Yeah. We do it like the real pros, right? Multiple episodes so that they don't have to keep putting the setup.
Right. I don't know. Maybe you don't know it, but when they do Wheel of Fortune, they record 100 episodes in one day.
Yeah.
Just get them in.
Churn them out.
Right. And then they do nothing for 2 years.
We're not quite that professional, but we're getting there. We're getting there. And don't forget to support the fake history sponsors who support Old Kentucky Tales. The products are real, only the sponsorship is fake.
If you would almost go to court to charge your brawl with non-support, we think we should let you know Johnson's the place to go. We have a style and size for you, designed for health and comfort too. Don't buy your bras by price alone, but wear a style your very own. If you've a figure sort of flat, our contour styles take care of that. And if you want a true blue uplift, we have the bras with just that gift. Fact is, if bras are what you need, whether you're plump or like a reed, choose from the biggest range in town. Good bras that will not let you down. Johnson's Department Store on Main Street in Hazard.
Okay. Yeah.
Whoever wrote that copy had a little too much creative control.
Yeah, it's a poem. I mean, we could just do this. See, it looks like it's a bra ad. He just types in old bra ads.
Yeah.
And then says, this would also be good for the show, right? Is that what you do?
Yeah, we find them. There's always a bunch of weird stuff out there.
I like how you danced around all different kinds of accents during that. Like, at first I thought it was Dracula, but then it got all gentle and smooth, jazzy, right? What were you shooting for? Was that you?
Yeah,
of course it was you.
Yeah,
I'll do all of them. But yeah, it sounded a lot like Count Dracula at first, but I have a little trouble hearing it. It's a little quieter.
Yeah, we don't have the cans. That's another change, right? We've always had the headphones, right?
Well, you're plumper like a reed.
Actually, I was going for the AC/DC sort of. They've got songs like that.
They do?
Yeah.
They have songs not about bras.
Yeah, with the original singer, but not the second singer.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was that was kind of the vibe.
I don't know. I don't know the AC/DC singers. I mean, I'm just sure they're wonderful.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get the AC/DC fan hate mail now, right?
No, I'm just polite like that. Do they? Are they still around? Do they still do things? They got that one. They got that one really good song. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Really
anyway, the bra ads. This is just to throw me off, right? But I
They
sound like Count Chocula. I'm sorry.
How about all the puns in there? That's what I like. Charge your bra with non-support.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is a bra that'll never let you down.
Well, look at this lady, Miss Doris. What'd she do?
She is the sales clerk, and she's going to fit you.
So find Miss Doris. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. She'll get you all taken care of down there in Hazard.
Right.
So for those of you, we're on the western end of the state, and that's the eastern end of the state. So we've got the whole thing covered.
Right.
How about
you
that?
mean Old Kentucky Tales?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We are on the far, far west. Right.
All right. So
Now
it's
it's
time for the moment we've all been waiting for.
The main event.
Round one.
And that's our main event.
Mm-hmm.
Our main event involves a big fight between Matthew Lyon and Roger Griswold. It's sort of legendary.
These are congressmen.
These were congressmen.
Kentucky congressmen.
The
No?
Lyon eventually went to Kentucky. He wasn't there at the time.
Oh, this is not state
but he is
congressman
the
then.
no. This
They're in
is
Washington.
Congress.
Okay, all right.
So this
So
is big
different
boy
states.
Congress.
Yeah.
He's actually the founder of Eddyville, Kentucky, though.
Okay. Mm.
And so he's got a really big Kentucky connection.
What was his name again?
His name is Matthew Lyon.
Mr. Chance there.
And so
is Lyon County named after that guy?
it's named after his descendant, Chittenden Lyon.
Okay.
But yeah, they're the Lyon family, and then he was the founder of Eddyville.
Right. Okay.
So it's a pretty good connection, and it's also one of the really interesting stories just in political history.
Right.
Because the backdrop of it is the two-party system.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't intended. It wasn't in the Constitution.
Yeah.
So we call that extra constitutional in the biz.
Well, people so what was the system that they used? Just 5 or 6 different kind of designations? They kind of coalesce eventually or change.
Right. So they didn't like factions. If you read George Washington, he warns you about factions. He warns you about parties, all this stuff. Doesn't like them. But then people have these natural inclinations, and they kind of
yourself?
just always bunch up.
Right.
It's just kind of the way it always works.
Yeah.
Just like cliques in a school.
But we
even.
especially have done that into 2 parties because there are other countries, modern countries that might have 5.
Right. Yeah, they've
And
got
then
the multi-party system. You tend to see that in
they'll
Europe
they'll
and
build
everything.
coalitions, literally join up and say, now we have the power. But distinct, maybe 5 different parties.
Or more.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's the two-party system, and that creates an us and it creates a them.
Uh-huh.
For better or worse.
These 2 guys?
With these guys, there's definitely an us and them with these guys. So the 2 parties are the Federalists and the Democratic Republicans.
Right.
Lyon was a Democratic Republican. Griswold was a Federalist. And that means that they're automatically going to be opposed to each other politically. Mm-hmm. They won't like those things politically.
So the Federalists were, that was George Washington's party. right?
Yes. Well, he didn't really technically like parties, but you count him with the
but
Federalists.
I put him in there like a centralized government. They have the power.
Right. And the Federalist era is technically Washington and Adams.
Yeah.
And so Lyon and Adams really didn't get along either.
Yeah.
There's a whole separate thing we'll probably do with that one day.
Right.
Because he got thrown in jail.
Which one?
Lyon did.
Lyon. Okay.
And that was during the Adams administration.
Oh, he was president. Okay.
And they tried to ban free speech. They had a little law there called the Sedition Act, and then Lyon crossed paths with him, ended up in jail.
Okay.
So he doesn't like the Federalists at all.
What about Adams? Was he kind of like a tough guy too, right? Well, how would you characterize him? We know Washington, we know Jefferson, we don't know Adams.
So Adams is kind of a deep thinker, but he is really the polar opposite of, say, a Thomas Jefferson, where Thomas Jefferson's all like this maximum liberty kind of guy.
Yeah.
Adams will tend to side on the with order, and he wants
whatever
order.
It takes for order. Right.
Right.
Sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, he wanted liberty too, but it's just they're more of like the bigger government, do a new program, Washington D.C. kinds of solutions.
Right.
And whereas the Democratic Republicans were not, they were more like states' rights kind of people, and all of that.
Seems like that would only be natural as they created the system to try to account for both those things. That's why we're set up that way. We have the Electoral College kind of account for, well, some power over here, but still states' rights.
Yeah, all the balances and the checks, and that's exactly kind of the context that you will find this in.
Yeah.
And what's really neat about the source that we're going to look at today, it's called, they say Matthew Lyon, the Hampton of Congress. And so then you're led to believe, well, what's Hampton?
What's that mean?
What is that? And so that was a guy in English history who found himself at odds with the English king. So
great idea.
Right, but it's liberty, right?
Centuries of patience and understanding with those kings.
Yeah, and so the author has associated Lyon with Hampton.
Yeah.
And then, I guess, by extension, Adams with King Charles.
Okay.
And that's kind of the backdrop for this.
Yeah, they put it. These are like people that they are familiar with, and because that's their brethren. That's like the people they came from. They're aware of
history, but also
European
British history.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that they studied.
Okay.
They studied the Greeks, the Romans, and then, of course, modern British history would be that would be their history.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where all that originates. So you've got them, these two guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're going to get into it here a little bit. They're opposed to each other. And then also you get a little bit of like a media mix in with this.
Really?
You'll find that the Federalist newspapers cover it differently than the Democratic Republican newspapers.
Oh, yeah.
And see, that's another one of these myth-shattering things. Because you like to think that, well, once upon a time, there was an objective media who just called it right down the middle.
Right.
And even back then, it just wasn't the case. Some of them were kind of Federalist leaning. Some of them were super Federalist. Some of them were Democratic Republican leaning. And
but it's still free press.
Oh,
they can print what they want.
And they can do their own thing.
In that sense, they're not obliged to print what other people want.
Oh, no.
But they are still leaning one way or the other.
And you'll get two different perspectives on the fight in there and everything.
Yeah.
So it's a little hard to get down to the bottom of exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. But we picked one, and we're going to go with that version.
Okay.
And kind of walk through
for
the
these
story.
two guys, you mean?
Yeah.
Of like what their problem
was. Yeah, because we want to see, well, where did this fight come from?
Yeah.
And then how did it originate? How did they get into it? How did it play out?
Yeah.
So,
Wish we had pictures of these guys.
We will. Yeah. It's called post-production. but yeah, we'll...
Oh, you actually have it? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I've got a little folder with their little pictures in there and everything. I guess I probably should have shared that with you.
Okay.
A minor detail, right, Jason?
They all look all right.
But yeah, once we get it completely done, we'll paste those things in there. We'll have Hampton. We'll have Charles.
Yeah, they all look the same.
But actually, they do. Right?
Yeah.
They get the long hair and the dark outfit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the collar, the big collars.
Right.
Yeah, they all do look alike. That's
a little fuzzy in their paintings and drawings.
That's actually 100% correct. So this is from 1798. It's in January, the end of January. And this paper is going to walk you through the incident. All right, it's called the Aurora.
Sprint. is another way to do it.
Yeah. Sprint you through the incident.
Sprint us.
Yeah. Quick read. We call it quick read. The House of Representatives was engaged in balloting for managers to conduct the impeachment before the Senate of Senator Blount of North Carolina, the Speaker being out of the chair. So this is already kind of a high-tension thing. We're doing some impeachment inquiry kind of stuff and getting House managers together and all the. So, and that's really contentious. That's about as contentious as you can get.
But
is any kind of like impeachment proceedings.
It's only been not even 10 years, though, right?
Yeah,
1798, they barely.
But we already hate each other.
Right.
And we're already
10
trying to
years
kick each other out of
trying
places.
To impeach. Yeah, 10 years later.
Yeah. So,
All right.
100% right.
Yeah.
Just before the adjournment, Mr. Griswold, so that's our Federalist congressman, and that's just like the Christmas Vacation Griswolds.
So, really?
Yeah. I think they're related, maybe.
Yeah. So that's a Kentucky guy?
No, but Lyon is.
Lyon is the.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mr.
Oh yeah,
Griswold,
the Eddyville guy. Why did they name it like Lionville? That would have made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's
Should
Eddie?
have been Matthew Town.
Or Matthew Town?
Yeah.
Maybe he brought it up, but they're like, nah.
Mr. Griswold and Mr. Lyon, being outside of the bar, the former, so that would be Griswold, the former made some allusion to a story circulated in some of the eastern states that Mr. Lyon had been obliged to wear a wooden sword for cowardice in the field. So
Is that a thing that
big
happened?
one.
You're
there was
a
a story about it.
Right.
So there's actually two versions of the story.
Yeah.
All right. Version one of the story is that Lyon wanted to transfer to a different unit, and that's what kind of caused the problem between him and his superiors. Version two of the story, which is the Federalist version of the story, is that he wussed out apparently in one battle during the American Revolution.
All right.
He served with Ethan Allen. If you remember, like the Green Mountain Boys and Ethan Allen, and that's.
I love their music. I don't know the Green Mountain Boys.
And the furniture is amazing. Right? Ethan Allen furniture.
Are there banjos involved in this?
They're probably
Ethan Allen, like he's got the coffee tables.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But again,
so anyway, the story goes that.
But why would they give you a wooden sword as if to say, "Hey, everybody, look at this guy. He's got the."
Yeah, it's like a dunce cap.
Right.
It's a social shaming
right,
kind of
it's
thing.
a shame, but you got to walk around with it.
100% right.
Yeah. Okay.
Upon this, Mr. Lyon spit in Mr. Griswold's face. Because that's a major. You're gonna call me a coward?
Always a shocker.
I'm just gonna, right. Always a hawker, and just right in there. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the thing, because I'm going to go up there and rib this guy a little bit.
I mean, it's not unlike this, right? I mean, it's kind of, I don't know who those are. But,
yeah, they didn't like each other
look like
either.
that. Yeah.
John C. Breckinridge.
A lot of big ties in their front of them. Was that Breckinridge?
Yeah, that was. Mr. Sewell desired that the galleries might be cleared, and when the doors were closed, he moved that Mr. Lyon be expelled. So you can kick somebody out of the house.
Yeah.
And so, okay, this guy spit on some guy. We got to kick him out. The House ordered the doors to be opened, and the subject was then referred to the Committee on Privileges. The committee soon reported to the effect that if either of the members offered any violence to the other before a final decision, he should be considered guilty of a high breach of privilege. So, don't fight each other. In the meantime, we're going to sort it out.
Right.
This kind of grown-up stuff.
Yeah, babe.
On the 1st of February, a letter from Mr. Lyon to the Speaker was read, in which he disclaimed any intentional disrespect to the House. So we're going to go into apology mode here a little bit, and we're going to, let's okay, I spit on a guy, but it's not that bad. Let's just move past. On the following day,
he did not say it's not that bad.
But that's what
the guy had it coming. Right.
On the following day, the Committee of Privileges reported the facts of the case to the House and recommended the passage for a resolution of Mr. Lyon's expulsion. The debate on this report continued until the 12th of February, when the vote upon the question of expulsion was taken and stood the ayes 52, nays 44. But it's got to be supermajority. A vote of 2/3 being constitutionally required to effect an expulsion, the motion was lost. So we're not kicking him out. All right, so he's going to be right here. We had the vote.
Right.
He's staying with us.
spit away.
Right.
You're unhappy happy with that guy, just go for it.
So then it's a big deal. There's
Yeah.
some cartoons that came out about it and that kind of thing. But then the story kind of progresses into the next phase.
Right. I mean, it published in the newspaper.
Yeah, so
This
February 16th.
Yeah.
You kind of move up there a couple of weeks to let this sort out a little bit.
Right.
Yesterday, after prayers, nearly half an hour after the time to which the House had adjourned, and after the Speaker had taken the chair, Mr. Lyon was sitting in his seat, which is in the center of a row of desks, with his hat off and inclining forward with his eyes on a paper before him.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So he's in there reading,
Right.
concentrating, he's not looking around.
Hats off.
Mr. Griswold left his seat
Uh-huh.
with a stout hickory club,
Oh, yeah.
came up to Mr. Lyon on his right front, and you know where it's going,
Goose egg.
and without warning,
Well,
struck him
Like you
once and again over the head and shoulders before he could rise.
yeah, just beat him senseless with a cane.
Exactly. And repeated his blows, which Mr. Lyon endeavored to ward off with his arm, while extricating himself from the surrounding desks and chairs.
Yeah, I must have been horrified.
Mr. Lyon, attempting to close in order to avoid the blows, and that's a jiu-jitsu kind of tactic, by the way, pushed forward towards the Speaker's chair, Mr. Griswold endeavoring to preserve the distance and repeating his blows. Mr. Lyon at length got a hold of the tongs. So this is a pair of Fireplace tongs that he has managed to round up in the middle of this fight
Yeah.
to defend himself.
Oh, yeah, he's going to fight back with a
So
metal
it's cane versus Fireplace tongs.
Yeah, now he's got the metal.
And you've seen those. They're kind of like salad spoons for the fireplace.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They're
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
tongs to pick hot things out. I got you, but they're still going to hurt.
And so now we're swashbuckling
Yeah.
in the halls of Congress with Fireplace tongs.
Everybody's freaking out.
Everybody's freaking
Just
out.
like watching it.
Well, you actually get a little bit of both because
Yeah.
it's a crowd, right?
Yeah.
Some people
Well, it's a
help,
fight.
some people take a video.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You know, it's a that's crowds for you.
But, I mean, yeah, they should be breaking them up by now before they get to really beating each other senseless.
After one stroke of the tongs, his antagonist closing in, both the tongs and the club were dropped, and the two members fell, Mr. Griswold having Mr. Lyon partly under him. There was no call of order from the Speaker at this time.
No.
Who needs that? Two members endeavored to take Mr. Griswold off by pulling him by the legs.
Right.
The Speaker alleged he should be taken by the shoulders. They were, however, separated. A few minutes later, can you imagine that, pulling this guy by his legs off the other guy?
Yeah, he's
crazy.
sitting. Yeah, I don't get that. Someone's sitting on somebody else and you grab their feet?
You
Grab
gotta
their
get him off
shoulders.
somehow.
Yeah.
A few minutes afterwards, Mr. Griswold was standing in the part of the House where water is placed for the use of the members. Mr. Lyon came up to the same place with a cane in his hand.
No way. It's not going to do it
As
again.
soon as he recognized Mr. Griswold, he struck him with the cane, on
Really?
which Mr. Sitgreaves brought Mr. Griswold a hickory club. But the members interfered.
Yeah.
The Speaker then called to order, and Mr. Lyon and Mr. Griswold separated. Can you imagine that? You go in for a part 2 of this? I can
Was
see
that
it,
like
though.
that 5 minutes later? Is that what you mean? Or
Yeah.
they all kind of settled
Yes,
down?
yeah. So
good to
they
drink
had
the
the
water.
assault. They get the guy
And it all
off of
starts
him.
up again.
And then Mr. Lyon is like, oh, no thanks.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a weapon in there and I'm going to get you.
Right. Well, they end up best friends at the end.
Sadly, that's not exactly the way that this worked out.
Okay.
But we are happy. Here's the happy ending you were looking for.
Okay. Well.
We are happy to add that Mr. Lyon is not so much hurt as might have been expected
Yes.
from the violence and manner of the assault. And that's actually a good point.
Yeah.
Because this kind of thing happened again later, which was up
that guy?
near Lincoln's era
Yeah.
with Senator Charles
Oh,
Sumner.
a similar thing where they really fought.
Oh, yeah. So that guy, Sumner, gave this anti-slavery speech. It was, and it was a big one. He was calling people out by name.
Right.
And he was comparing them to people in Don Quixote, which are like complete idiot characters.
Yeah, yeah.
And all this stuff. And then also he did some personal assault, insult kind of stuff,
Yeah.
where the guy he was calling out had a little drool problem. and so he was saying
went
things
there?
like he went there.
Oh, man.
The loose expectoration of his speech. It said in that, calling him out.
Everybody has some occasional speech expectorants.
Right.
But this guy,
he said, Senator, say
he's
it,
got
don't
a special
spray
problem, right?
Yeah.
You know when he gets up.
Yeah. And so it was like making fun of Bob Dole's pen or something like that. I mean, it was like real below the belt stuff.
Right.
And that guy's nephew
It's
came in
drooling.
there.
It's like one of the worst
and
things.
beat him with a cane, like
Really?
almost killed him.
Yeah.
Almost killed Sumner.
Right.
And so this was, it's not even a one-off.
Uh-huh.
This is the kind of thing that happens
Yeah.
from time to time.
But it's like wilder days. It was like
That's
that.
a little
I mean,
wilder
the
than
times
I mean, today
were
you get a
wilder.
lot of mean tweets and that
People
kind of
were
thing.
more, they could deal with, they dealt with things in that way more. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like physical action.
Exactly.
Wilderness people we're talking about here.
Not far removed. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. We have now turned to the final page
Is it
of this
over?
chapter.
Everything's fine now?
Yeah, happy ending.
The happy ending was
both lived.
they're not dead. Okay.
Yeah, nobody got killed.
Yeah.
No congressmen were hurt in the filming of this episode.
Yeah.
Old Kentucky Tales never fails to return.
Mm-hmm.
You can listen to more episodes, binge listen, as we say, all those podcasts, but now moving into the video.
So they could watch this on YouTube, but you can listen to it. We'll be able to listen to it.
Yeah,
Also, just audio like you normally would.
absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have any idea what the next episode's about, or is this just like the shirt thing and like same day, and we'll worry about that later?
Yeah, we'll worry
No
about
clues
that
for the
later.
No
And-
clues.
No clues.
No deep promises?
You gotta be surprised.
Okay.
You
Colonel
gotta be
Sanders is
surprised.
always popular.
We've probably something about
I
constipation.
think we've got it. Just probably.
Normally, normally we'll
you
do
keep
that.
selecting the ads. Yeah.
Yep. But as for now, the rest
Go for it.
is history.